Hey guys, this is IntroducingEmy and we're back with another Redline Tuesday, this time from jornus.deviantart.com. I think that's how that's pronounced, like Jonas, but with an R. So, let's jump right into it. Also, if you hear any noise in the background, that is from my fan. It is quite hot here in California. So, as usual, I like to start with either the neck area or the rib cage. I just think it's a good way to anchor the drawing. Now, I have well, I shouldn't say that. I do have some tricks about drawing in forced perspective like this, which mostly is doing boxes like this, and then you can kind of, that's not how that goes, there we go, and then you can kind of like put the rib cage in there at that perspective, you know. But I am not a master at that. And for a drawing like this, I feel like I can kind of eyeball it and get it, you know, what's our favorite word? Decent. We can get it decent. Okay. Now, when everything's foreshortened like this, you're probably not going to see much of this muscle and tendon caging around the neck. However, let's try to get a curve in our rib cage that looks slightly decent, that you're not really going to see it through the clothing, but okay, there we go. This is probably going to be kind of a short one. I'm actually quite tired today, so I will try to keep up the banter. I don't know why, but I have just been exhausted lately. My sleep schedule kind of got all turned around, and I've been up at night and working during the day, and okay, so because his arm is foreshortened, it needs to just be a little chunkier near the bottom. The original way that the arm was drawn was more like if it wasn't in perspective, like with the slimmer, like it tapering down to the wrist. And as usual, what would a video be without my dog being super noisy in the background? She's got her bone. Like a dog with a bone. This drawing's actually really, this is gonna be so short. This drawing's actually pretty decent, so I feel like I don't have to go over as much. Okay. Same thing here, I'm kind of broadening his build a little bit. Changing where the elbow hits. Just deciding what I want to do here. Let's see if, oh, that's a little close. That's okay. Let me So I know this character isn't looking straight at us, however, it's always good to throw a few little crosshairs and landmarks down just to try to see some of the perspective. And I can tell that there's like a notch here for the part in the hair, so I'm going to go ahead and kind of lay that out. The sides of the head are there. So he's looking a little more like this way than being on dead center, so we'll keep that in mind while we work on this. So I notice his eyes, like one is half-lidded and the other is not as half-lidded, and that seems purposeful, so I'm going to kind of leave it. I'm also going to make this lighter. Can I get away with that? Let's saturate it a little more. Okay, I hope you guys can still see that okay. So with your shapes, try to remember to draw through as much as you can to make sure things are nice and round and even. Now, as I said in previous videos, you don't have to ink all these lines. It's just to help you find what you should be inking, I guess is the best way to put that. So also, this character really reminds me of Frankenstein. Well, I should say the monster. Not Frankenstein himself. Just get rid of some of these extra lines. Okay, so for this character, I would actually bring the nose down just a little bit. It's fine that he has a high nose, but he comes off as almost like, what do they call that when you're like a bulldog where the face is smooshed in? Something cephalic, I think. Phallic? Ooh. Okay, no. Emmy's interests are immediately piqued. So, in the email, he mentioned that. Also, I'm just assuming this was a guy who emailed me, but it might be a girl, so I'm sorry. But they mentioned that, you know, I always worry about stepping on people's styles and things like that, and to feel free to make whatever changes I thought fit. So I'm gonna make another change. For the eyebrows, I would not go so like rectangular. I would do like a little more of like a trapezoidal shape. Just, I guess, personal preference. And then for here, I would put a little bit of a line around the outside of the eye socket, and then again with the cheekbones, just to make them look a little more sunken in. Okay, so this thing here, this is kind of, I do this a lot with my own drawings, but that's basically like where I would put a chin shadow, but here, let me just make it more regular. Okay, I'll just lightly draw where the bottom of the chin would be. There we go. Okay. So I'm assuming you want the eyes to be the same size. with just one being more like closed or squinted. There we go. Okay, and head. Actually, let me do the ears here. That will help a little bit. Oops, kind of moved it. Okay, and then let's see. I think I still managed to make this eye a little too big. Alright, so I'm not going to change the shape of the skull because, again, it seems like one of those intentional things. Like they went out of their way to, you know, make sure the skull looked like that. So I'm not going to bother messing with that. Okay, and then this. Okay. I actually made his arm a little thicker than it was in the original to kind of match his broad face and broad build and stuff. And I've moved the watch up to kind of compensate for that. So, watch is in a new locale. Yeah, like I said, the anatomy and stuff is actually pretty nice. I'm not really touching the fingers, you know. Those look fine to me. I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna be hemming and hawing around with those. The only thing I would say is maybe, 1 second here, let me just clean up the watch a little. Okay, so, on the hand here, I noticed like before it had like a really straight connection on the back. I would enhance this arch a little more because hands have kind of like a ramp shape. So there's your thumb pad and the thumb, and then you have your fingers out here. There's like this like really obvious swoosh, like whoop, like that. And no matter how like big or small you are, like no matter how chubby or not chubby you are, generally everybody has that swoop because that's like how the joint is connected. And when you're working with really simplified characters, it's best to exaggerate every part that you can get away with, you know? So yeah, exaggerate every part. No, I can't. I can't do that. Oh, where's my mind today? Okay, so I guess I could do a little bit of the clothing. Like that shouldn't be too bad. Okay, let me compress this. Multiply. Okay, so I'd love to know the story behind this character. I really like him for some reason. He's very enchanting. I don't know. I think he's cool. I think it's the Frankenstein thing. The monster that I find so cool about him. So, with ties, they're not too ribbony like this. Trust me, I wear ties all the time, so I know my ties, is what I'm trying to say. I'm just gonna kind of dot this all up so you can see the collar a little easier. Okay. So, I mean, if you want to leave it ribbony, cool, whatever, but here's an alternative. I could take it as supposed to be a straight tie, so we'll box off the end, and if you want, you could show the I always forget what the name of that is. It's like the other half of the tie that you clip down or slip through the back loop or whatever. You could show a little bit of that. Just like breaking away from the tie a little bit. It'd be kind of cool. Just like that. Don't have to, just a suggestion. And clothing. Oh wow. Did I draw something wrong here? Hold on. I gotta... Because his belt buckle's like over here, but his... Well, I'm gonna go with mine. Decisions have been made. I'm going with mine. Let me back up a little bit and turn the canvas. Just a quick mention. I heard that Photoshop CS2 and back, so like all the software for, like, I'm on CS6, right? I think this is CS6. Yeah, no, because CS5 has like a really bad memory leak. That's right, and I swapped it for CS6. Okay, anyway, so CS2 and back, from what I've heard, is free to download from Adobe now. Now CS2 and back does not have the rotation tool that started with CS4, which is the tool I'm using right now to rotate the canvas. However, a lot of like the standard stuff I do, like how I make layers and the multiply effect and everything, that's been around in Photoshop since forever. So if you are interested in trying your hand at I'm sorry, the groin, it just hypnotizes me. If you're interested in trying your hand at digital art and like seeing what that's all about, there you go. That's a good way to do it. And I will try to remember to find a link to that. Alrighty. Oh, another thing is this shovel. It's kind of going off at a weird angle here. It should be more like, let me just scroll down a little bit. I think it should be more like this, and it should also be slightly larger at the bottom since a lot of the foreshortening is like coming towards us. This is actually kind of a cool composition and everything. I love the moon up here, you know, the trees and everything. It's nice. I like it. This is a nice, like it goes right up to the moon, and you know, it makes this nice triangle here between these three elements. I don't know. I dig it. I dig this drawing. It's a cool drawing. I like the character. I like his batch and his taint. So, good character. Emmy approved. Okay, so let's, is there anything else that I can contribute to this? Oh, a real quick thing. I can tell from the shading that you use some kind of Photoshop tool to like stroke the inside. I'm not sure. You either did a stroke on the inside or some kind of inner glow or something, because there's this down here kind of gives it away, this like really rigid clipping. If I could recommend some shading, let me see here. Let's see if I can kind of get rid of some of the black on this and go over it with my stuff. Applying paint jobs takes a long time on a big image. It's almost done. Okay, it's done. So let's do not that. So what I'm going to do for now is I'm just going to put white here. This is what I get for not connecting my lines. Okay, so let's see what we can do here. I'm just kind of doing this for my own satisfaction and to also stretch out the time of the episode a little bit because I've barely capped 25 minutes. So, yeah. Yeah, we should probably try to add some more, huh? So let's just try to quickly fill this all in. are getting into something. I can hear it. They're so dead to me. They are DTM, dead to me. So I know I'm kind of filling this in a little sloppy, but this is just for example on shading here, so forgive Emmy. Forgive Emmy. I'm always waiting for somebody in the comments to go, no, you are not forgiven. I'd cry. I sounded so like, yep, made my decision. I would sob. What was the belt? Kind of metallic. I'm gonna tell you right now, this watch and belt buckle are a little too green for my taste as far as like the metal is concerned. Like it almost looks brassy, and I don't like brass. Don't like it. I don't know. Just rubs me the wrong way, I guess. Okay. One last thing. I also think this is supposed to be like a light shirt, so I'm going to go ahead and make that light. And I'm going to go ahead and make the pants not quite so dark. I'm looking for like a blue that's not... Oh, it's pretty shrieking, isn't it? Okay, that's decent. Okay, so our moon is up here. And the best way to shade this is to take a color from a color from the background, and then go over top of it. So remember, the light is coming this way, so you would get shadows casting like this down across his body. I'm gonna go pretty angular on these shadows because the style just seems to call for it. If you don't want to go so angular, don't. Sorry I'm so quiet. I'm in deep shading concentration mode. And I think you would even have some shading on his legs, so maybe not that deep in. Okay. Just remember though that this arm is going to cast a shadow like that way. Same with like the tie and his head. So you can only get so much lighting in here from the moon specifically before, you know, shadows are going to take it over. You might even get a shadow from the handle of, I'm assuming this is a shovel, but I don't know that for sure. Okay, and then let's do a lighter color as kind of a backlight. And let's say this one's kind of coming down from this angle. So we'll just come in here. I should say that I almost said the commissioner, the redliner, the submittee, the submitter, I don't know, whatever. The Jornus, who gave this to me, didn't say anything about the shading, but like I said, I'm doing this just to kind of pad the episode out a little bit, so that you kind of get your money's worth, I guess. But if you feel like the shading part is a waste of your time, stop watching. Stop it. So I think the back shading for me, or the backlighting, I'm not sure what you would, I always call it back shading, but it's because I shade it technically with this color, but I think it's actually called backlighting. But this is always important for me because when faces are completely in shadow on one side without any sort of gradation to the features, it's like it's such a bummer. Especially when you spend all your time on cool details on the face and stuff. Like, I don't mind if it's like really dramatic lighting and like one whole side of the face is in black or something to that effect, but when it's kind of like softer shading, quote unquote softer, meaning like softer color and stuff, it's so sad when like you can't see all that cool stuff. And then we are going to select all the white and delete this and turn off the white so I can see what this all looks like. So I'm just trying to cover up what was already there so you can sort of see it without the come on. There. It's giving me a hard time. Alright, and I guess we should... Yeah, let me preserve my red line first. And let's make one darker here. Cool, so this is what we got now. I feel like the moon could stand to be like way, way brighter, considering it's giving off all this light. There we go. There we go. Let me see about going out a little. Not that far. Come on. Photoshop. Something like that. There we go. So this is kind of... This is mine. And then, I said that so possessively, like, this is mine. So that's just like my little tip for some improvements you can make. You know, feel free to reject any or all of that. And then here's our red line. Still there. Okay, moon. We have had it with you. You can leave now. I don't know why I went over the moon like that. Anyway, so there we have it. And let's throw our credit up again. So jornus.deviantart.com sent this in. It's very cool. I like this character. I think he's a very cool character. He kind of looks like he's dancing a little bit. Like, wah. Wah. I don't know. Alright. I will check you guys later for the next one. I'm sorry I was so tired for this one. Okay, bye!